Hi, my name is Anushree. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a crochet patchwork cardigan. So let's get started. So to make a crochet patchwork cardigan, you're going to need to make these squares. I have made a total of 39 squares, which I'm going to show you right now how to make. I made these squares using a 4mm hook. I used Nest Haven cotton yarn to make all these squares, and so I've made all my squares with like different colors. There's pink, blue, cream, purple, all different shades. But you can also make crochet patchwork cardigans using like a color scheme, maybe just 3 or 4 shades. So I've divided my squares into 4 different types. The first type are these plain colors. So I've made 20 squares, and they're just plain. So each square has the same dimensions. Each row has 25 stitches and there are 15 rows. And each stitch is basically a half double crochet. These are the first types. The second type that I made are these checkered patterns. So again, all my squares are different colors. So, and they're all the same size, and they're all made using a half double crochet stitch. I made seven checkered squares. The third type that I made are these stripes. So I made 5 of these. For the last one that I made 5 of these pixel grid hearts. And then I made 2 like random pixel grids. This is a bow and this is a flower. So I'm gonna show you how to make the squares that I made completely out of half double crochets. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make a slip knot. And you're gonna insert I'm using my 4mm hook. You're gonna insert your hook into that space, and then you're gonna chain 25. So 1, 2. So once you've made your chain of 25, what you're gonna do next is you're gonna chain an additional 2. So you're gonna go 1, 2, and then in the third loop from where your hook currently is, so that's 1, 2, 3. In this loop, you're gonna insert your hook. So first you're gonna wrap the yarn around your hook, and then you're gonna insert your hook inside that third loop. You're gonna wrap your yarn again around your hook, and you're gonna pull through that 1 chain. And now you're gonna have 3 loops on your hook. You're gonna take the yarn around your hook again, and you're gonna pull through all 3 loops. And you're gonna have 1 left. So what you've just made is a half double crochet. That's your first half double crochet. Then you're gonna do the same thing again. You're gonna wrap your yarn around your hook. You're gonna insert into the next loop. You're gonna wrap the yarn around your hook again. You're gonna pull through that 1 loop. You're gonna have 3 loops on your hook, wrap the yarn around, and pull through all 3. And so basically you're gonna continue this along the line until you reach the last loop. And then once you reach the last loop, you're gonna chain 2 again. And yeah, the pattern is really easy if you're going for the plain squares. If you want to go for like the ones with the pixel grids, that's also easy. You just need to know how to change the color. So the way I arrange my squares is basically I kept 15 squares for the back panel. So there's 5 squares in 1 row, and I've made 3 rows. I've kept 6 squares for each side panel and 6 squares for each sleeve. So I'm on the fairly skinny side. I wear a size small, so that's why I decided to make my sleeves with only 2 squares in 1 row. But if you want like a more baggy feel, and if you want it to be a little more oversized, you can go for maybe 3 squares in 1 row. So that would have 9 squares on each sleeve. So instead of making 39, you'd have 45 squares in total. So my length is like 3 squares long, but you could even go for 4 squares if you want it to be a little longer. I wanted mine to be just like around waist length, so that's why I decided to go for just 3 squares. So this is going to be my back panel. So I wanted to make a quick update, and I'm almost done with the back panel. I just have to add 1 more square, but this is how it looks so far, and I really like how it looks. I haven't added the stars. I'm gonna add a few stars to the plain squares. But yeah, this is the update. So I just finished stitching both the front panels together. This is the left side, and I sewed this one correctly, but this one, I accidentally interchanged these two. This was supposed to be on this side. And now I'm kind of panicking about this because now I'm gonna have to redo it because I really wanted the left and the right side to kind of mirror each other, and it's not mirroring anymore, so now I'm gonna have to redo it. So I got them separated. Now I just need to sew them on the right way.
A few minutes later.
I just finished the two front panels. This is how they look. I fixed this one up, and now I just have to sew the sleeves. My first sleeve. This is how it looks. Now I have to do one more. So I really love crocheting, and I really love making like new patterns, and I like making cardigans, and they're just so much fun to wear and they look nice. So the thing that annoys me the most about crocheting is the fact that I have to sew everything, because I don't really like sewing. I tried to get into it like over the summer last year, and I just thought it was really boring. So this part of the process of making clothes especially is really annoying, and especially in this project, since there's just so many squares that need to be sewn together. Like, there was no other way to make this. I'm just excited for this part to get over, and then I can just have the final piece. Okay, so I just finished sewing the last sleeve. Now I've made all the pieces and I'm going to assemble them together. This is how all the pieces look, and this is how I'm basically going to sew them together. I've kind of just arranged them for now. So we have the sleeves on those sides. This is the front panel, and that's the back panel. So now I just need to sew these together. So I just finished sewing together my cardigan, and this is how it looks. Now I'm gonna add like ribbing on the sides and the bottom, and as well as to the sleeves. So for the last couple of days, I've been working on the ribbing for the cardigan, and I've finished the ribbing for the sleeves, and I've done most of the ribbing for the side panel, but I ran out of yarn. And now I'm gonna have to wait for a few days. I placed an order for more yarn like last week, but it'll still take like 2 more days for it to arrive. So once that yarn comes, I'll just like finish off with the ribbing. I have to add it like on the sides as well as the bottom. And after that, I should be done. I've started adding like these stars to this, like the plain squares, and I really like how that looks. So I'm gonna continue doing that. But yeah, in the meantime, I just have to wait for more yarn to come. So it's been like a few days since I last recorded, and the update is I was waiting for the yarn to come, and it turns out Amazon is having some difficulty in sending that yarn to me. So I first ordered this yarn like 2 weeks ago, and like last week when I was supposed to get it, Amazon said that the order was rejected by me, and then they sent it back to the seller. And I genuinely thought that maybe I actually did something, like maybe I pressed a button. So I just reordered the yarn, didn't really think much about it. But then yesterday I was supposed to get the yarn, and the same thing happened. Amazon was like, it got rejected by you, and now it's being sent back to the seller. So I called up customer service and I talked to the people, and I was like, what's happening? Like, the yarn isn't even coming to my house. Like, I'm not doing anything. And so they looked into it, and basically this company is, I guess, sending like the wrong shade of yarn. And once it comes here, when they're checking to see if the product is what I wanted, it's not the one that I requested. And so that's why they're sending it back. And so the problem is that there's no other online platform that sells this particular color or this brand of yarn. And so I've ordered the same yarn again from Amazon for the third time, but I've kind of lost faith. I don't think I'm gonna get the yarn. And if I do, I don't think I'm gonna get it like anytime soon. So now I'm thinking of changing up the color for the ribbing. So I'm gonna keep the sleeves the same because the sleeves I've already done, and both of the sleeves have the same color, so it makes no sense to get rid of that. But for the front panel that I did, I'm gonna change that, and I'm gonna change the color to this light pink that I found. So this is the one that goes with the cardigan the most out of all the other colors that I have. The only problem that I really have with this is that I haven't used this particular yarn like anywhere else in the cardigan, but it does, like, compared to the other colors that I'd initially thought of, this one's the one that looks like the most cohesive with like the cardigan, and it matches with the pastel colors of the cardigan. So I'm gonna make the ribbing with this now. Last night I finished doing the ribbing for the border, and this is how it kind of looks with the cardigan. And I actually really like how the colors like going with the rest of the colors of the cardigan. I had this fear that it might look like out of place, but it really doesn't. So I finished the borders, and I even did the ribbing for the front panel as well as the collar. I just have like one panel left, and then I'm done with the cardigan completely. I have one fear, and that is that this yarn is not going to be enough to make the ribbing for the last panel. So let's just hope that this is enough. For my ribbing, I am basically making 5 stitches. That's like my height of the ribbing. So when I'm going up the ribbing, I'm crocheting single crochets into the back loops only. So the reason you do back loops is so that you get that ribbing effect. If you do like normal single crochets, it won't have like that scrunched up effect. So single crochets only into the back loops as you move up the row, and then once you reach the 5th stitch, you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to flip your project over. And now as we're moving down the ribbing, I'm making half double crochets. So again, only into the back loops. So the reason I'm making half double crochets is it just increases the length, and it like kind of speeds up the process of the ribbing. For my sleeves, I've made only single crochets for the ribbing, but for the borders and the front panels, I'm making the half double crochets. So now I'm done with this. I'm going to make a slip stitch into one of the stitches on my cardigan. So I'm going like a fair distance and leaving kind of like 2 to 3 stitches. So I'm gonna insert my hook here, and I'm just gonna pull over the yarn and just pull this loop off, and that's how you make a slip stitch. So I'm just continuing this for the ribbing. Yeah, it's fairly simple pattern and it works. You can kind of do this with like any type of yarn. My yarn is a little on the heavier side. Like it's kind of hurting my fingers actually. Like the material of the yarn is like a little rough, but I just have a little more to go and then I'll be done. I just made my last row for the ribbing, and yeah, I'm done. Now I can just cut this off. And I have very little yarn left, so you could say this was kind of just fate. Like this is like next to nothing, but yeah, I'm done. This is how it looks on. It looks pretty fantastic, honestly. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked how the cardigan turned out, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and see you for the next video. Bye.